is keep the island open because tourism was one of the main sector of our economy, and we thought it's better to get sick than to starve. The expats started understanding what the main advantage was of living in Madeira, and well, basically, it's a perfect combination of an exceptional quality of life with tax advantages and investment opportunities. So the expat community they take advantage of being close to the nature, mountains and the sea, very professional environment and good tax and corporate opportunities. So you get basically the best of both worlds. The financially investment advantages, but also the personal advantages.
Thank you. Alex, you mentioned that you gave up on New York to go to Portugal.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, I mean,
The good and the bad.
I'm going to tell you something. I think that probably Portugal made that decision for me. Okay. So I had some friends which lived in New York too, and told me, look, I'm moving to Portugal. I thought they were crazy, of course. I had been as a kid a couple of times, but I still came to visit 6 months later. And at the end of this weekend, the idea was to just try to research a little bit the market and how to open a business. And when I say that Portugal made that decision for me is, on Monday morning, I just went to a bank. I wanted to see how easy it was to open a bank account. And as a matter of fact, within 10 minutes, I had one. So I was like, okay, so let's see how long it takes to open a business. I just wanted some information. So
just like that, he decides to build one of the biggest touristic resorts in Algarve.
Yeah, but I mean, like in a few minutes, like I got a tax ID number. I was like, okay, so how do I open a company? They told me within an hour. It was called Company in an Hour, Empresa na Hora. You can get a business. So we did that. And by lunchtime on Monday, we had a business, a bank account, and a business plan. So yeah, and it went really quickly from there. So.
And do you have any difficulties in selling your project?
So not really.
Why?
Because I think that the demand is far higher than the supply of property, and of course, the Portuguese boom has taken lots of people by surprise. So as the market grew and the products came to market, there was always someone to purchase them. Initially the foreigners, and then the locals and the Europeans, and it just became an amazing melting pot of different cultures and environments, and yeah, that's how it worked out.
Okay. Beck, I know that you are also a consultant for expats willing to invest in Portugal. And we had biggest changes in terms of the immigration programs in Portugal, and this panel is about second residency. So we can look into that as a second home for vacations, for retirement, or also for a second residency permit that will lead you to second passport in Europe. What do you think that were the biggest challenges in these changes? And how the market is replying to those changes, and how do you deal with clients that sometimes think that Portugal has nothing to offer, that close the doors, but there are some alternatives, right?
Thank you. Very complete question. Thank you. So we have the lack of working a little bit with every area. So we were working with all the investment funds, and including the fund and others that are present in the market, because we have to advise the client what's best for them without incurring any conflict of interest of what is good for us. It's always good for the client. So some clients prefer a certain fund, other clients prefer a certain industry, other clients prefer Madeira. And we work with each of our colleagues accordingly.
The good parts of Portugal is the different locations that all of them are very, very good.
So the business started with helping corporations or companies to set up in Portugal. It was not related at all to Golden Visa. It started as a hobby, and then a friend recommended a friend, another friend recommended a friend, and friends of friends of friends, so it started going. To answer your question, I think that the October 2023 law change was the biggest game changer, as everybody knows, on the side of the panel, probably on the side not everyone knows. So we could emphasize that before that there was a lot of demand for people to buy real estate, and especially, my mom lives here in Brooklyn, all the family is here, and they're like, hey, can we go visit you in Portugal, and we'd like to buy real estate. So that worked a lot. From October 2023, there was a game changer, and only investment funds are available for Golden Visa, as you know. So many of our clients, what they do is that they get a ticket of 500K for the whole family to have a Golden Visa, mainly because they like that healthcare is much cheaper than in the States, so almost free, and there's a very good EPO, the Cancer Treatment Center, which is in Portugal and public, and we have actually investors, unfortunately, in that condition that are investing, and for that reason. We have investors that are investing because of educational reasons, so cost of education. I have 3 kids, one of them in private school in Portugal. You probably laugh, it's about 5,000 per year, compared to the US tuitions, it's quite attractive. Whereas in the state universities is 100 euros a month probably, so 1.2K per year, so it's like unthinkable in the States, so that's another attraction. So many of people, they don't mind investing 500K in the older visa, and then adding another certain amount to get a property to live. So I think they are getting the residency by investment. It's so far the best program probably in the EU, and it's not by chance, because back in 2012, when I was working at the Banco Espírito Santo, now Novo Banco, the program was created with Paul Portas at the time, and they studied the best programs that they are in Malta, in Spain, in Greece.
To a consultant to implement the program, they see what
they cherry picked the best points, and then they created a Portuguese program. So sorry to a long answer. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this point, we could already understand that we have a lot of interest in real estate and a lot of interest in a program that is called the Golden Visa. Before going to the details of the Golden Visa, where all of this panel has already a deep experience, I would explore a little bit more the real estate market. Vitor, what are the opportunities of the real estate market for an American investor?
Well, the real estate market in Portugal is quite good at the moment. You can invest in any kind of properties, depending if you want to have a certain income or an ROI on the property, or if you want to purchase a property for you to live. We have from north to the south, to Madeira, for example, we have a lot of good opportunities. Still we have, and for very nice prices. Because in Europe we are one of the safest countries, and this is a fundamental key for people to invest. People are investing in Portugal because they feel safe. As Alex was saying, he went there for 1 day or a couple of days, he fell in love by the country and invest. This is, people need to go there, and people when go there, they will fall in love by the country and they will feel safe and they will do it. And this is as easy as Alex was saying. So you need to come to Portugal, you can see one property, a villa, an apartment, an office, a shop, a supermarket, whatever. We still have good opportunities with very interesting ROI for us to give you. And the market is still growing. The market is not with a bubble, as some people are starting to say, because we have a lot of people coming from abroad. We have also a huge expat community of Portuguese that are still investing in the country, and we still have margin to grow. So I believe if you want to invest in Portugal, maybe this is the right time now, because the prices are still growing and growing and growing. This is my opinion.
Thank you, Vitor. So we have a new member. Please do the presentation. No problem. I will ask you to present yourself and your business in Portugal, and then a very specific question, that is, how do you describe the purchase of real estate in Portugal? It's so difficult, it's secure. How long does it take a process?
So my name is Nuno. I work in Portugal for real estate in 12 years, and I have my own team. So I represent Keller Williams in Portugal. So in replying to your question is that the process is easy, but for me I think it's important not to focus on the real estate in the beginning. I think it's already told. It's important to understand what need to be done about the fiscal number to open the bank account. want. And because the market in Portugal now is too fast. So imagine you like a house, you want to make a proposal for that house, and it's impossible to do it.
The seller would like to sign in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
because you sign it, you don't have the account number, you don't have the fiscal number. It's difficult to do the reservation. Of course, there is other ways to do it with some partners that we have. Also, it's important to have these partners that can do that for you. But the market is so fast in Portugal that you can lose the house if you focus all in the house. So it's a big process, but it's very fast. You can buy a property in 1 month. I believe it's the minimum time that they can have a property at your home.
Okay, so you would recommend for someone considering to do an investment in Portugal, first step, get the Portuguese taxpayer number. Second step, open a bank account, and then good to go for a proposal.
That it's mandatory because, like I said before, it's too fast. If you like the house, the expectations become so big. If you cannot achieve it because you don't have all these matters taken care. The thing is, you're going to lose the house. So I think it's the first step to do, and then because we have a lack of opportunities because all the people are searching for Portugal. But you still house available, and so it's a good point to take care first.
Thank you. Claudia, in your initial comments, you mentioned about tax opportunities. Can you enlighten the audience a little bit more about taxations when purchasing a real estate, and because it's standard for the whole country, and then the specificities in terms of taxation on Madeira Island. This to explain to the audience that despite the citizenship of someone that is buying real estate, the taxes will be exactly the same for everybody. But we have some news about tax residency, youngers purchasing real estate. So tell us a little bit about that.
So Portugal is eager to attract new residents and investors. And tax is an important criteria. And that's why the country has created special tax incentives. On the one hand, for new residents, on the other hand, for the investments, namely real estate investments. There are currently tax reductions and exemptions for young people up to 35 years old to purchase a property. There are transfer taxes applicable on the purchase of a property, and this is to the buyer, the buyer's responsibility, and also municipal taxes that apply every year. It depends on the location, on the amount of the property, and the type of the property. I think from a tax perspective, it's important to consider what is the goal. Why are you buying a home? Is it a property? Is it as a primary residence property? Is it as a second home, or for investment purposes? In the specific case of Madeira, we try to work with clients to help them understand the options based on the objective. If you are looking for, if you have a golden visa, as you want a plan B, and you want a property in Madeira to come every once in a while, or to lease and as an investment, there are so many options in a small region, and the prices change dramatically. So it's important to understand what you're looking for. If you want to do the investment as an individual or as a company, this is an important consideration as well, especially if you're going to have an activity in the company. And in Portugal, in mainland Portugal, for instance, the corporate tax rate is 21%, but the government is planning to reduce it, or starting already next year. In Madeira, because we have the reduction on the mainland corporate tax rates, it's down to 14.7 on commercial activities, for instance.
Thank you. Alex, you have a lot of experience with digital nomads and golden visa applicants. This to say that to purchase a real estate in Portugal, you don't need to live there, you don't need to have a visa, you can just make the investment or have a second property to go and spend some time. So, what is your experience, and because you own a development, those golden visa, those Europeans, those locals that purchase there and it's a touristic project, how is the returns?
Okay.
It's a good investment?
So I mean, it depends on the projects and it depends on the objectives. So typically, if we are in Porto or Lisbon, our projects are purely residential. So these are projects where we are going to try to find an audience of either digital nomads or people trying to relocate or for retirement. So the returns
The
on
ones that we call the D7 program, right?
exactly. So for these projects, we are not really looking at returns, but obviously, you know, designing a project takes time. The market is booming. So by the time we buy the asset, get the permits, start commercializing, you know, the prices have gone up, and then it takes us a couple of years to develop. So I can see that by experience when buying off plan, and that's true with lots of projects when they're properly located. That's what happens. You're looking at a markup between purchase and delivery of probably around 30%.
So you are saying that some of your investors, they purchase very cheap, and now if they want to sell, they can sell it for a very high price.
Yeah, but as you know, what is rare is expensive. So by definition, the more people come in, the more prices go up. There's a finite amount of properties that are available, so that mechanically drives prices up. So for the investors that are looking to buy for rentability, you know, you have areas like the Algarve, for instance, where we are very present. We are delivering 2 large projects this year. In these projects, you know, the tourism is booming. We're going to have direct flights from the US to the Algarve this next summer. We had Canada last year, and it's expected to continue expanding around the world. So as a result, the demand also increases, and because developer cannot build enough properties to supply the growing demand in tourism, again, like occupancy rates are going up, daily rates are going up. They're still extremely competitive compared to Spain or France or Greece. So there's tons of value, but in these cases, I mean, when I look at the project we did with one of your clients, we were expecting average nights rates of 250 euros. We were hoping for 60% occupancy rate. Look, we opened mid-June, we have 99% occupancy rate, average daily rates of 450 euros a night. So we could never have expected that. So on those projects, clients are going to make probably 10 to 12%, and we were promising 4%. On Nomad Bay, which we are delivering in December, you know lots of those clients because you've helped them. We are looking at 8-9%. That's what we're advertising now. We were promising 3 to 4% back 2 years ago. So it's a great place to invest, both for rentability and for real estate. But not just that. We are promoting Portugal as a place to live, to work, to do entrepreneurship, to educate yourself. There's tons of things to do. It's not just about speculating and investing. We want people to actually move there, invest there, learn,
Second home.
as a proper second home. Yeah.
Okay. So, to clarify the audience, Portugal, besides the real estate opportunities, also have different immigration programs. We used to call the D7 for passive income holders, so anyone that has a passive income or that is retired and wants to have a second residency in Portugal. We have the D8 for digital nomads, people with earnings from abroad that wants to live in Portugal as a remote worker. We have for entrepreneurs that we call the D2, the ones that want to incorporate a business, and we have one very popular program that is called the Golden Visa. And it's popular because it's very flexible. What are the main advantages of a Golden Visa program? And why to choose the Portuguese Golden Visa? Because we know that there are the Greece, there are the Spanish one, you have other programs. Why the Portuguese Golden Visa program is so trendy among the investors, especially now in US?
Thank you. That's a great question because it links a little bit with what other speakers have presented. We'll start with the return, and then we'll come back to why Portugal after that. So, when you're selling investment funds, we have to be very careful in terms of risk profile, so a risk return adjustment. And we like to work with companies like Non-Habitual that Alex is representing, because satisfaction is created when there is a positive gap between the expectation and delivery. So when the expectation is lower and the delivery is higher, there is this positive gap, which is called customer satisfaction. Now, most of the people in the commercial area or in the sales area, I mean, we don't sell ourselves. We have in each country introducers to whom we pay commissions for them to present as investors, and they cannot sell the investment funds because they'll have to have Series 63, Series 7 in the States. My nephew who's here representing us, he's from New York and he has that, so we cover the compliance area. So we're interested in getting to know people that that can sell it well, and it's very important to sell it well, not just saying that Portugal is wonderful, the returns are absolutely great, they're guaranteed. And then when there was a switch from real estate to investment funds, you have a lot of real estate agents that were saying, well, it's absolutely guaranteed. It's like a bank deposit, and there's a Bank of Portugal guarantee, which is absolutely nonsense. And this is private equity funds, and they're very risky, and they should be sold as such. The reason Portugal is still attractive with the investment fund, now to answer your question, Sari, is because you still have the strategic location, which is fantastic, that we cannot change. People are calling the Azores the new Hawaii, right? So COVID has changed a lot of things. You can pick up your laptop, go to the Azores, take, I don't know how long it takes from Boston or New York, probably 4 hours compared to 6 or 7 to Lisbon. You go for your meetings once a week, or every 2 weeks in New York or in Boston, and especially anybody who is on the East Coast is wonderful. So strategic location is great. The other advantage is like the 500K gives you full access for the whole family, not only per investor that many people confuse and don't know about. You have a stable economy. You have more than 50% of the days there is sunshine, so it reflects on the people that you meet, very positive attitude. And you don't need to get application for each of the other 26 countries in the Schengen area. So once you get your Portuguese golden visa covered, then you can live, work, travel freely. I mean, the US passport allows you to do that up to 90 days. When my mom comes and she has a 90 days visa stamped upon arrival, it's great, but she complains a little bit because she has to wait for 1 hour or so because of the lines, and the IMA employees are on strike. So it helps to have a Portuguese passport, or you go to that shortcut and electronic machine. So it's a 27 country access. It's not only in Portugal. That's a main advantage. The returns, of course, are attractive.
Also good.
Yeah.
Okay. So Vitor, we are speaking about here the Golden Visa, and for clarity, Golden Visa it's an immigration program that gives you a residency by investment. So you do an investment in Portugal. With that, you are granted with a residency permit for you and your family. Main advantage is that you just need to spend 7 days in Portugal, and even so, after 5 years, you and your family can access citizenship. Until October, we had this program connected with real estate opportunities, and now we have connected with venture capital funds, donation for cultural projects, or even corporate investment with job creation. I would say that the most trendy option is the venture capital funds. For a client that is willing to do the Golden Visa, for this second residency card, for this second passport for Europe for him and his family, he wants to know more. He wants to know how to choose a fund, how the concept of funds work. Can you explain a little bit about that? How do you guide the client on this?
Well, we have different investment funds in Portugal. First of all, you need to choose one of them that is certified by the CMVM, by the security authorities that control the fund. Okay, this is the main aspect and the most important. It needs to be a certified fund by this commission. Then you need to choose So you need to consider which area of investment. We have hospitality funds, we have funds that invest in soccer clubs, we have funds that invest in renewable energies. So you can choose investment in a fund that somehow qualifies according also to your expectations and in different areas of
And
business.
you can even diversify.
And you can even diversify, because the 500K that you need to invest, you can put, imagine, in 5 different funds, 100K in each one. As long as you make the investment of 500, you can choose different investment funds, different categories, different kind of business. So I believe the most important is try to look at the fund that can try to give you the best guarantees. But as Beck said, if somebody gives you or somebody says to you that it's guaranteed fund, there's no risk, it's completely not true. Because you always have in the venture capital fund some risk associated to this. So you need to mitigate this, try to see who is the company, try to see what they promise to give you, and as I said, they started with maybe 4% returns on the beginning, and now they're expecting to deliver more. So some homework needs to be done, and this is why also we are here working. We are experts on this area for the last 12 years, since the beginning of the Golden Visa. And obviously we will try to advise our clients and our friends with the best solutions that we have on the market, according obviously to the kind of investment that you want to do and eventually the industry that you want to invest in.
Thank you. Claudia, this investment in funds, if everything goes well, also brings some return to the investors. Are they subject to taxation? It's a free of tax return. Explain us a little bit about that.
There's no taxation on the funds income from funds if the investor is not resident in Portugal. In my case, I deal mostly not with Golden Visa, but with residence visas like the D2 specifically and the D8. In the case of the D2, once the clients become residents in Portugal, they will be subject to tax.
And how they become residents in Portugal? What are the two options for them to have that in mind?
So usually with the D2, the company incorporation, we help them incorporate the company, and then they apply for the residence permit. Or with the D8, they will get the work as digital nomads and register as freelancers in Portugal. The taxation is completely different. So coming again to Madeira, sorry, but it's my area of expertise, and I consider for company incorporation, to be honest, it's very, very competitive. We have the taxation of the company is 14.7 for local businesses, Madeira or Portugal, and 5% if the company has an international activity. So we have many American clients that are incorporating a company in Madeira, providing services in the European Union, full access to the EU. The income obtained from the EU operations is taxed at 5%, corporate income tax rates, and the dividend distribution is taxed currently at 19%, so it's quite interesting. Under the income resulting from Portuguese sourced operations is taxed at 14.7%. Freelancers, on the other hand, and digital nomads can be subject to a special tax regime. The non-habitual special tax regime was stopped or changed in Portugal, but in Madeira and the Azores, we're still entitled to this special tax regime. So this means that professional and labor income, dependent income, is subject to tax at 20%, the flat tax rate, and there can be exemptions on foreign sourced passive income. So it's very interesting.
Okay, thank you. So to summarize here the topic of taxes, we have in Portugal different immigration programs. We call the standard ones D1, D2, D8, D7, the ones that are used for people willing to relocate. When you relocate to Portugal permanently, or if you spend more than 183 days, in that case you become tax resident in Portugal. However, for people that do not want to become tax resident in Portugal, we have the special program that is the Golden Visa. Under the Golden Visa, because you just need to spend 7 days, although you can spend more, you are not considered tax residents, which means that even if you have returns from a fund, an investment fund, those returns are exempted on taxation. Also positive, all these programs, the standard ones and the golden visa, they lead to citizenship after 5 years for you and your family. And citizenship in Portugal, in the perspective of taxes, it's a little bit different from US. So it's not because you hold a Portuguese passport that you are subject to taxation in Portugal. It doesn't work like that. You can have the passport and do not pay taxes in Portugal. You only be subject to taxation in Portugal if you have Portuguese income, with exception of investment funds, or if you relocate permanently to Portugal, or if you spend more than 183 days. So we can say that even in terms of taxations, we have a good approach to expats and investors coming to Portugal. We have indeed the change that we mentioned, that at this moment, for golden visa at least, it's not possible real estate investments. However, what we can see is that we have clients starting with the golden visa, so they can have the card to stay more time in Portugal and access citizenship, but still they want to do real estate investments. How do you qualify the trends in the real estate investment in terms of expats? What are the biggest communities? And what is the feedback you are hearing from clients that made one first investment and then they recommend family, they recommend friends, they want to do a second investment? How is the evolution of an expat approaching to Portugal?
So what I felt during this period is that I think it's important to have the visas. They are always looking for this, but the thing is that the total is they love Portugal. So they are not going to invest in Portugal just because of that. They love Portugal because of everything is already been told here. Is the weather, it's amazing, the people are very nice, we like to receive, the food is great, the healthcare system, comparing to what they pay here, it's totally different, it's very cheap. And even the prices, we are having an increasing of prices.
When you say cheap, for instance, how much is a breakfast or a very nice dinner in Portugal?
So I really believe that, so it's here in New York, for example, it's more 60%. Or more than that, so I'm being kind. So it's very expensive comparing to Portugal. We can have a seafood dinner for people, for person, 25-30 euros, and it would be expensive. And here it's impossible to have it. It's impossible. So it is just starters.
You get a meal for the price of your morning coffee.
Yeah, exactly. They're saying that in the breakfast. So what we pay for the breakfast is we can have lunch, for sure.
An average monthly cost of living, if you can say average cost of living, it's helpful.
So imagine the minimum salary in Portugal is 800 euros. So just for you to have an idea, it's impossible to live. If you pay here, living in Portugal, it's impossible.
Yeah. And an average rent?
And the thing is that people that go there to have an income here, they are going to have an amazing life. And everything included, the weather, the healthcare system make a huge difference. I felt that the clients really like that. They felt that when I make a proposal for insurance for a couple and they will pay for, imagine, 5,000 or not even 5,000 per year for both, they just start laughing and say it's impossible here. I pay that monthly almost 1,000 per month just for me, more 1,000 for my wife, so 2,000 per month. It's totally different. So we felt that in the total, in general, people, of course, they are trying to see if it's possible to have the visa. But I don't think this is the thing that will make him decide to go to Portugal. When you go there, I always say that you need to go there, visit, explore a little bit more Portugal, try to understand the area, the location that you see that you could be good for you to live, and after that you decide what you want to do, and that's make difference in the decision for the Americans, and not only for the Americans, for people from all over the world, just because we are here.
Yeah. Indeed, we had in the last year an increase of 500,000 new expats in Portugal, so it's a huge increase. I would ask if the audience has any questions before the final remarks.
Can you please clarify? You mentioned about the citizenship. And it happens that I do know, but some people, I don't think it was very, very clear. So is it the same like in the US or other European countries? For example, you have a residential permit, you can stay there and live with your family, but in order to obtain a passport, you should stay, I think it's important, I think it's how many days? 183. And also are then test knowledge, language test knowledge and history, like in the US and other European countries.
Okay, so allow me to.
I just did that process.
That's a good question, right?
I wrote some documents.
I'm
Yes,
sorry,
yes.
you didn't mention that, right? I didn't miss that,
No,
right?
no, no,
Okay.
no. So Alex is doing the process now for citizenship.
Okay.
So all of our immigration programs, they lead to citizenship, all of them after 5 years. Okay.
Regardless if you live or don't.
For the standard ones, D1, D2, D3, D4, these 5, 7, and 8, which is digital nomads, passive income holders, entrepreneurs, as Claudia mentioned, workers. These are standard residencies, so by rule, you should stay in Portugal at least 6 months a year, okay, until you achieve the 5, hold the card for 5 years, and then you apply for citizenship, okay? From the side of the golden visa, you just need to fulfill 7 days a year in Portugal for you and your spouse, parents, parents-in-law, children, and you can access and apply for citizenship after 5 years also, okay? So they both lead to citizenship. The standard ones, you need to live a certain period, 6 months a year, golden visa just 7 days a year, okay? Citizenship application, very easy. What you have to prove that you hold the card for 5 years, so it's legal residency, holding the card and not permanent living there. You need to show clean criminal record from your birth country and countries of residency where you stay for more than 1 year after the 16 years old, okay? And you need to show Portuguese language proof, okay? There is no knowledge test on culture, no. What you have to prove is that you need to give a certificate that you have learned Portuguese. And now I will try Alex to see.
Of course.
I'm sorry for procrastinating. Just so you know, I'm doing the British residency now. I got robbed in Spain in July, so I had to redo a passport and I had to redo my US visa also. So I will do that next week. I'm sorry. But no, the language test was quite easy. I had to do 90 days of studying.
Basic knowledge, right?
Because
the knowledge is proficiency, it's
Basic.
It's very basic. Look, I've been there 10 years. It's so multilingual that the motivation to learn Portuguese, like you really have to put the effort because otherwise you will speak English, French, Spanish. It will just flow. So it was really hard to get motivated. But you have to understand how to move around, how to describe a recipe, how to present yourself, how to organize a meeting during the weekend. It's extremely basic, and trust me, my Portuguese is horrific.
And I think it's respectful towards the country to learn the basic language.
I think it's a
You want to
minimum
read
of
something.
respect, and I probably didn't follow that in the early days, but I can definitely have a chat, you know, business-wise, I'm not sure, but yeah.
Any more questions? Please.
If you are a member of the European Union already, what are the rules? How the rules change?
So are a little bit different. These kind of programs that we mentioned, Golden Visa and the D programs, is for people that are not European or from Switzerland or whatever. So for people that are from France, Italy, any European country, you already have the right to live in Portugal as well as to bring your family, to reunify your direct family members, children and spouse, even if they are non-European, okay? The process is much simple. You need to have an address in Portugal, and in the city hall of where your address is located, you do a proceeding that is called the Certificate of Registration of European Union Citizen. And they give you a certificate, and that's it, because you already have the right, you just need to formalize it to get the certificate to live there. Okay?
But you're never gonna get a passport, a Portuguese passport.
After 5 years, it's an example because he's from France.
Yeah.
After 5 years, you can also access. So all the immigration programs, and even for Europeans, after 5 years of the residency permit or the European certificate registration, you can access citizenship.
Okay, and doing business during that 5 years is taxed how?
So I will lead to Claudia, but just to keep in mind that in Portugal we also have the specificity that is you don't need a residency permit to open a business. You can open even if you don't have a tax program or a residency program. You can incorporate your business, and depending if you are in the islands or if you are in the continent, you have different tax regimes. Okay, Claudia?
Yes, and in fact we have many clients investing without becoming tax residents. So there are no restrictions on foreign investors incorporating a business in Portugal. As Sarah mentioned, there are different tax regimes. Well, it's the same tax system, but the islands are entitled to different tax rates. Specifically, 30% discount on the standard tax rates. In this case, both Azores and Madeira chose to apply that reduction. So, in mainland Portugal, the corporate income tax is 21% currently. It's expected to be reduced next year to 20 at least, we hope. And in Madeira and the Azores, it's 14.7%. If you are a foreign investor, the dividends will be taxed there will be withholding tax according to the double tax regime. So it depends on where you are tax resident, unless you are investing in a special tax regime that exists in Madeira, the international tax regime, where there is no withholding tax on dividends distributed to non-resident shareholders. So in this case, you'll be taxed in your home country. If you are a resident, again, depending on which part of Portugal you are a resident, you will be taxed at 28% on dividends or 19.6% in the case of Madeira and the Azores. This special tax regime existing in Madeira is very interesting for international activities. So if you have a business providing services or trading with outside of Portugal, the corporate income tax is 5%. It's the lowest in the European Union. You can also have business in Portugal, but in this case we separate the accounting of both areas of business. One will be taxed at 5, the other will be taxed at 14.7. So it depends a lot on your specific situation.
Thank you. Any further questions? So if not, I will ask my colleagues for final remarks. 1-2 minutes to tell where are you here in the expo, and how can you help someone that has an interest in Portugal, and how can they find you?
So we are here in the international place. It's
Room.
a room. So it's behind this door. So we are here. We are going to be all day here to help you. We are a team of 6 people working in real estate in Portugal. We're very focused since 2012, working with international clients. So we are providing all the services that the client could need. I think all of us are prepared to do that. I think for me, it's very important to have more people talking about Portugal. It's very good. Last year, I was the only one, and then I felt that it's good to have more people from Portugal here, providing service for partners, for clients. So such as all of us can help us, not focus only on me. So I think it's important for you to go to Portugal and visit and understand what could be a good benefit for you to invest in Portugal.
Well, as Nuno mentioned, we all provide services and can assist you, and it's great that you are able to speak with different persons and understand the different advantages of Portugal. I think that what's important to retain is that Portugal is a very small country, but extremely diverse. So it's important to visit and understand based on what you are looking for, what's your primary motivation, where you feel most at home. I'm sure you'll feel at home because that's what our clients say. The question is whether you'll feel, where specifically you will feel most at home. There are advantages from immigration, from tax, and from a personal perspective. You just have to understand, with the help of local provider specifically what these entail in your particular case. That's why we are here for. But Portugal is a very welcoming country. We need new residents, we need investors. The government is committed to providing good conditions to attract new residents, and especially the people are welcoming. We've already mentioned it. We like foreigners, we like expats, we like to speak different languages. So you'll probably have a hard time speaking Portuguese, but it's worth it.
Well, in our specific case, I'm here today with my business partner, Henry, which is an American citizen, and he's the best person to give you all his experience because he's living almost 3 years now in Portugal. He relocated from Los Angeles to Lisbon to Sintra, and we are here to tell you our experience, mainly in his words, on his own experience as a person, as a family. He can show you and guide you through all the aspects in the last 3 years, what he has done, how he feels the country, everything. His experience will tell you how you can do it, and everything from good to bad stuff that he can have for the last 3 years. I believe we are here to share.
Anticipate some challenges.
Yeah, anticipate all the challenges. And this is what the challenge. Yeah. The only challenge is that we create this new brand, the big global.
I can remember just one, that is the fact that you trade LA for Sintra. I live in Sintra, and I know that you have a resident cloud there for the whole year.
Yeah, but this is what we are doing here, providing our experience, and we just create this project together, Big Global, Big Portugal, so we can share our experience. Me as a local, and Angie as a new local, a new Portuguese citizen that can encourage you and tell you everything regarding moving to Portugal. And this is why we're here for. We are in the International Pavilion, the booth is 445 if I'm not mistaken. We'll be here all the day, show there, and we'll speak with you guys.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Well, I mean, back in the days we were selling a concept, a promise for a bright future. And we are not there anymore. Like, the time is now. Like, Portugal is a country of opportunities. I made some calculations a couple of days ago. I have 54 friends and family members or friends of friends which have moved from the US to Portugal in the last 2 years.
Your own community in Portugal.
No, but it's incredible. And I have friends that have come to study, some others that have come to retire. I have people in vertical farming, medical marijuana.
Some of our universities have the best management programs and economic programs around the world.
Exactly, and I mean the education is so good. We hire only Portuguese when they're juniors. They're fantastic. They stay. But it's a country of opportunities. Things work. The government will help. The banks do lend money at a much lower interest rate than here. There's the Portuguese market is very receptive to new ideas. It's a country of innovation. They get it, and that company I told you, which took 5 minutes to build 10 years ago. Well, by the end of 2025, we will have done more than €1 billion of income. It's incredible. I would never have guessed that 10 years ago. I would never have believed it. So it's not a concept. The Portuguese dream is right now. It works. So yeah.
And how can you help our audience?
But I mean, we are a bit like ambassadors. We are here like we are selling the country, but that's not it. Like, once you take your flight, it's up to us to also welcome you, take you for drinks, take you around, introduce you to the right people. If you have a business plan or an ID, like, we have a nose for these things now. We know what will work, we know what the demand is. Just give us your ideas and we will always help. Like, the more of us, the better for the future, for the country and for us. So it's in our interest for you guys to come and invest. It's very important.
Thank you. We have a stand in the what is the room called? Very Hill, right? Everybody forgets that, right? And so we have a stand there. Please come by. We can have a conversation. Why feedback to answer the question. Basically, we as chartered financial analysts, we try to focus on our advantage, which is how to make sure that you get the right risk-return balance, and how do you make sure you get your money back after the fund is over in 5 or 10 years, depending on the fund that you get. And that we do, thorough analysis with you in terms of risk profile and invest. So that's the main line of work. And of course, we'll connect you with all the experts and specialists in Portugal. I mean, the legal, we already know who to speak to. So we partner. We don't have lawyers in our company, so we partner with Sarah and recommend the company. And we'll present you with tax consultants. If you want to open a company, you have specialists, a company on the accounting side, etc. We're multilingual, so in the company we have French employees, Portuguese mostly. We have Russian speaking, and because I'm from Uzbekistan, English speaking. We have Americans that are with us. So yeah, full service. We become friends. Basically, all of our clients become friends. You need a friend in a foreign country to sort it out and help you. Tell you where to get the cleaning lady, how to get the
those details of daily life.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Beck. So, from my side, legal perspective, we are also in the same room. The name of the firm is Prime Legal. It was founded also by me. It was a pleasure to share this information with you today, and I hope our paths cross at some point in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you.